Welcome to Just Asia, AHRC TV's weekly human rights program. These are the headlines. Terror attacks in Indonesia, Surabaya city. Maldives judges sentenced in political charges. Over 200 lives lost in storms throughout India. India, Kerala police accused of custodial torture after victim died. Dalits are barred from entering temple in Nepal. Urgent appeals from Indonesia and the Philippines. Welcome to AHRC TV's Just Asia. I'm Alexandra. This week, Just Asia begins with terror attacks in Indonesia. The country's second largest city of Surabaya saw yet another suicide bombing on Monday morning at the police station. On Sunday, 3 churches were attacked, killing at least 11 persons and injuring 41 persons during Sunday Mass. After the explosions, the East Java police instructed all of the city's churches to close pending investigation. This was one of the worst attacks on Surabaya's considerable Christian minority. No group has claimed responsibility for the suicide attack at the St. Mary Immaculate Catholic Church, the Diponegoro Indonesian Christian Church, and the Pentecost Central Church. However, some experts have linked the attacks to local cell affiliate with the Islamic State. While the Islamic State claimed responsibility for a riot last week at the High Security National Police Mobile Brigade Detention Center in Kelapa II, Depok, West Java, the police denied any Islamic State involvement. According to the police, the riot began when one of the detainees asked for food that had been brought by a family member, but the food was kept by another police officer. Upset, the detainee provoked others to protest and began rioting. They broke down the walls and prison bars and went to the investigators' room, where they began assaulting officers investigating new detainees. 5 mobile brigade personnel were killed while another officer is being held hostage. One terror detainee was also killed during the incident after making repeated threats and attempting to steal a police weapon.
Warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Hari ini telah terjadi aksi teror di 3 lokasi di Surabaya. Tindakan terorisme kali ini sungguh biadab dan di luar batas kemanusiaan yang menimbulkan korban anggota masyarakat, anggota kepolisian, dan juga anak-anak yang tidak berdosa, termasuk pelaku yang menggunakan 2 anak berumur kurang lebih 10 tahun yang digunakan juga untuk pelaku bom bunuh diri. Terorisme adalah kejahatan terhadap kemanusiaan dan tidak ada kaitannya dengan agama apapun. Semua ajaran agama menolak terorisme apapun alasannya. Tak ada kata yang dapat menggambarkan betapa dalam rasa duka cita kita semuanya atas jatuhnya korban akibat serangan bom bunuh diri di Surabaya ini. Pagi tadi saya sudah memerintahkan kepada Kapolri untuk mengusut tuntas jaringan-jaringan pelaku dan saya perintahkan untuk membongkar jaringan itu sampai ke akar-akarnya. Seluruh aparat negara tak akan membiarkan tindakan pengecut semacam ini. Saya mengajak semua anggota masyarakat untuk bersama-sama memerangi terorisme, memerangi radikalisme yang bertentangan dengan nilai-nilai agama, nilai-nilai luhur kita sebagai bangsa yang menjunjung tinggi nilai-nilai ketuhanan dan menjunjung tinggi nilai-nilai kebinekaan. Saya juga mengimbau kepada seluruh rakyat di seluruh pelosok tanah air agar semuanya tetap tenang, menjaga persatuan, dan waspada. Hanya dengan upaya bersama seluruh bangsa, terorisme dapat kita berantas. Kita harus bersatu melawan terorisme. Dan terakhir adalah kita berdoa untuk para korban yang meninggal dunia. Semoga mereka mendapatkan tempat yang terbaik di sisi Allah Subhanahu wa Ta'ala. Dan kepada keluarga yang ditinggalkan diberi ketabahan dan keikhlasan. Untuk para korban yang luka-luka, Mari kita doakan agar segera diberi kesembuhan dan negara, pemerintah menjamin semua biaya pengobatan dan perawatan para korban. Saya rasa itu yang bisa saya sampaikan pada kesempatan kali ini. Terima kasih. Wassalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.
Moving to the Maldives, 2 Supreme Court judges were sentenced to imprisonment last week on politically motivated charges. On May 10th, Chief Justice Abdullah Said and Justice Ali Hamid were sentenced to 1 year, 7 months in prison on charges of influencing court rulings. The judges were arrested on February 6th after a Supreme Court ruling on February 1st overturned the conviction of 9 members of the opposition, including former President Mohamed Nasheed, the country's first democratically elected leader, who had been sentenced to 13 years in prison on terrorism charges in 2015. President Yameen denounced the ruling as illegal and on February 5th declared a 15-day state of emergency to hold this justice accountable. The decree suspended several constitutional protections, banned public assemblies, and granted security forces sweeping powers to arrest and detain. In February, the UN High Commissioner for Human Rights, Sairat al-Hussein, said that what is happening now is tantamount to an all-out assault on democracy. 2 UN experts said the detention of judges is an attack on the independence of the judiciary and undermines the court's ability to work freely and effectively. Human Rights Watch is calling on President Yameen to release the judges and restore all political freedoms in the country to ensure free and fair elections in September. Moving to India, thunderstorms, hail, and lightning ravaging the country since April have already claimed at least 278 lives. This number is higher than usual. Although such extratropical storms are a routine phenomenon, the severity and number has been exceptional this year. They had killed 216 people in 2016, while the total toll for 2017 stood at 197. At least 42 of the casualties this year came from the northern province of Uttar Pradesh alone. Though deaths and destruction of property has been reported from across India, the storms claimed 14 lives in West Bengal, in eastern India, and another 12 in Andhra Pradesh. The storms exposed the criminal negligence of authorities in India, while India's meteorological department has already put up warnings. The authorities were found lacking in putting their act together. Had they invested in making the people aware of the warnings and moved them out to safe places and shelters, the loss of lives could have been avoided. The negligence is evidenced by the loss of 2 lives even in New Delhi, India's capital, and otherwise well-equipped to deal with such eventualities. The authorities should get their act together as the warnings are still in force and more people are likely to be affected. In India's state of Kerala, police are facing charges of custodial torture, leading to the death of a young man on May 2nd. The young man, a rickshaw driver named Unais, was taken into custody on February 21st. His family alleged that he was severely beaten at this time, leading to his hospitalization on February 24th, with blood oozing from his mouth and through his urine. According to the media, the hospital records confirm Unais' injuries were caused by torture. After his discharge, Unais went home and spent 2 months there. He succumbed to his injuries on May 2nd. This case adds to the list of allegations against police in Kerala, including the custodial death of S.R. Sujit in Varapuja and delays in arresting a well-known businessman even after proof was provided of him molesting a 10-year-old girl in the cinema. In Nepal, 50 Dalit families are barred from visiting the Shiva temple located in Bara district for the last 40 years since the temple was built. Dalits are being barred from offering obeisance in the temple at the time of auspicious occasion and weddings. They are not even allowed to offer jal, pure water, to the temple, and are also not allowed to even touch the walls of the temples. Dalits have been raising their voice against this discrimination for the last 5 years. The Dalit community contributed in the construction of the temple by donating their labor and money. And yet, the upper caste community is now not letting Dalits enter the temple. They threaten to abduct or even kill any Dalits who enter. Although caste discrimination has been outlawed in Nepal, it continues without much deterrence. Nepal's Caste-Based Discrimination and Untouchability Crime and Punishment Act of 2011 has done little to uphold Dalit rights or provide remedies in instance of abuse. Finally, the Urgent Appeals Weekly features 3 cases from Indonesia and the Philippines. In Indonesia, police arbitrarily opened fire on villagers protesting against the Sutera Marosi company's claim on abandoned land, resulting in the death of 1 villager. There has been no significant progress in the investigation. In the Philippines, a peasant leader in Compostela Valley was killed for his anti-mining activities. He was allegedly killed by elements from the 46th Infantry Battalion of the Philippine Army, who have killed many farmers in the area. Also in the Philippines, a National Democratic Front consultant and her husband have disappeared since February 23rd in Kidapawan City. They were involved in activities related to the peace process prior to their disappearance. That is all for this episode of Just Asia. For more on this and other issues, please visit www.humanrights.asia or www.alrc.asia/justasia. Thank you for watching and see you next week.